Hi everybody, this is Mike Gerdes from the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living with Wonder Dog Yoga, bringing you another love note. And today I want to talk to you about honesty. I went to a seminar once by this man named Michael Josephson, and he said something that was very provocative. He said, nobody is honest as they think they are, and nobody is honest as they could be. And you say, wow, gee, that's pretty strong. But think about it for a minute. I do know that the most expensive thing that I have ever bought, I've had houses and stuff, but the most expensive thing that I have bought is my own BS, belief system. When I'm telling myself something that's really not true. Now, if we think for a moment, we can ask ourselves, okay, where are we getting these ideas? Why are we saying what we're saying if it's not absolutely true? Do we even know sometimes what our own truth is? Now, we are each individualizations of God's life. Okay, we get that. But oftentimes we forget that. And we think that all the stuff out there is more important to us than our relationship with Spirit, our relationship with God. And so what we'll do sometimes is we'll say stuff that's not true to try to get people to think that we're something that we're not. It's like we want to save face. And we have such a desperate need to save face sometimes that we say and do some things that are just not honest. It's like being a people pleaser. I heard someone say recently that being a people pleaser is another name for being a liar. Because we're not really being ourselves with people. We're not really telling the truth about who we are. And oftentimes we're telling them things that we think they want to hear rather than telling people what our truth is. I've heard the adage, mean what you say and say what you mean. It's a pretty good adage. But to that I would add, but you don't have to say it mean. So mean what you say what you mean, but you don't have to say it mean. And that includes to yourself too. I think far too often we speak too harshly to ourselves. And when we speak real harshly to ourselves, when we're beating ourselves up from this or for that or for this or for that, we're really being dishonest there too. Why is that? Because the truth be known, who we really are is God's presence in God's life, knowing itself by means of us. Now, what about the mistakes we make, or the seeming stumbling we do, and stuff like this? Well, it's part of our learning and growing experience, you could say. And all of us stumble and fall and make quote-unquote so-called mistakes in this journey of life as we move along the way. But that doesn't mean we should beat ourselves up on it. And it doesn't mean that we should take being beat up upon by other people either. We need to stand up for ourselves and stand up for life. We need to stand up for others. We need to stand up for the truth of who you are, who I am, who all our brothers and sisters are. And our little puppy dogs too. We need to remember the truth. And we need to live from that truth. Sometimes we try so hard to save face. We do some sad things. But you know what? If we make a decision that moving forward we will be as honest as we can, you might find some wonderful things happening. For one thing, you might find yourself much more comfortable within your own skin. Because I know no people pleaser that's comfortable within their own skin, because every people pleaser I know, including me that used to be one, is not really happy with who they are. I wasn't really happy with who I was. And sometimes trying to save face causes us to almost lose our ass. Lose our behind. Get in the way. Because hear me out here. If you're having a personal emergency, if you're having an emotional emergency, you need to reach out and get some help. You need to reach out and ask somebody. You need to reach out and tell somebody about it. Now, oftentimes we won't be too embarrassed if we have a cold and we have to call the doctor or something like that. That's okay. But too many of us run into problems and we're afraid of how it looks that we have this problem, that we should be able to tough up and do it ourselves. Well, you know, if it's easy to do it yourself, fine. But far too many people in our country commit suicide because they don't reach out for help. They would rather die than lose face. That's not really being honest. That's not being honest with themselves. It's not being honest with spirit. It's not being honest with their families. It's not being honest with the world. So let's set an intention to be as honest as we can today. And each day, if we fail in something, to be as honest as we could. Strive to do better the next day. And I'm not talking about just cash register honest. I'm talking about telling ourselves the truth. Ask yourself, did I beat up on myself today? That I'm not being honest with myself. Did I beat up on somebody else today? That I'm not being honest with them or with God. Tell the truth. See the truth. Speak the truth. Live honestly. That's all I've got for you tonight. I hope you have a wonderful day, and Reverend Dr. Maxine will be back with you again tomorrow. Until then, Yoga and I say, toodaloo.